For this project, I used this combination mirror picture frame that I had picked up at a garage sale for $2.50. I actually ended up with two of them for $2.50 each. I removed the paper backing. I ended up having to wet it and remove it with a putty knife because it was really stuck on there. I left the board over the mirror section, but I did remove the board from the glass section because I'm going to be doing some resin glass art on the top portion of this picture frame. So I cleaned up the mirrors, and then I put some painter's tape around the perimeter of the mirrors just to help with easy cleanup because I am going to paint the picture frames. I ended up using this DIY chalk paint, the color Blue Iris. It's a real pretty color, highly pigmented chalk paint. Next, I traced out a mermaid on a piece of paper and cut it out and taped it to the back of the glass that was still detached from the frame. And then I just went ahead and painted in the color flesh tone that I wanted for her body. And I just did, from the waist up and just colored it all in. Now, the thing with painting on glass, which makes it a little bit more difficult than painting on canvas, is you have to let the first layer of paint completely dry, at least for 20 minutes before you go ahead and start the second layer, or else you'll be pulling up the first layer of paint as you paint the second layer. So this ended up taking 2 or 3 layers of paint. And then I started painting the hair, and I am not an artist. I watched a lot of YouTube videos trying to figure out the best way to do it, and all I did with this was painted thin strands of hair, starting with the darkest color first and then putting lighter colors on as I went. And I just put strands in here and there, squiggly lines. She's in the water, so her hair can be floating, whatever, any way that you want to do it. And I just progressively used lighter and lighter colors. And at one point I even used gold paint, and I'm not sure that was the best idea, but that's what I did. And then I think I used another lighter tone to go over it a little bit. And the great thing about painting on glass is you can use a razor blade to take the paint off in the areas that it got on and you don't want it there. So that makes things a little bit easier. Whereas on canvas, you would just paint in around those areas. So next I continued to paint the hair as best I could. And then I filled in a little bit more of the face where I kind of had overstepped with the hair. Next, I start painting the face, and again, I am not an expert painter. I've watched YouTube videos and looked at different pictures on Pinterest and other people's faces just to get an idea of what I needed to do, and that would be my best advice for you. I really can't give you advice on painting. Then I went ahead and touched up the hair a little bit more, and I was ready to move on to the next step of the mermaid. Next, I take Elmer's glue and put it around the perimeter of the frame where the glass is going to sit. And then I take the glass and put it back in, and I take Elmer's glue again and go around the perimeter of the frame again. This serves 2 purposes. It holds the glass in place, and it helps to prevent any resin leaks when you put resin on the other side. This needs to dry overnight. Next, I went through my glass, what I call my glass crumbs. I go to garage sales and thrift stores and get colored glass, break it up, and tumble it in my tumbler for up to a week. When you break up glass, it breaks up in all different sizes, and these are the tiny pieces, and I put these in separate containers. And now I'm just pulling out the dark and light blue for my mermaid tail. The other thing I look for at garage sales and thrift stores are jewelry. I use jewelry in my glass art a lot. And here I have 2 earrings, and I'm taking the backs off of the earrings, and I'm using that for around the mermaid's waist and down by her tail. And here I'm just assembling the glass to make up the mermaid's tail. So in this next frame, you'll see that I have another earring that is missing a crystal in it, and I still get those from garage sales because I can take them apart and use them for other pieces of jewelry. So this this is also a part of an earring. Anyway, I take the little crystals out of this and I use them to put into the mermaid tail after I've already put the resin on. And here she is ready for resin. You can see I put the broken shells down at the bottom and whole shells all through there, and I put a little pearl inside of that shell. And then I have a starfish. I actually put 3 starfish on there. And I put the little shells on her chest. And then I also have some green tumbled glass that I used to simulate seagrass that I put in. And now it's ready for resin. The resin I'm using for this project is art resin, and I did not mix it up on camera. After I had the resin mixed up, I start usually spooning it over the glass first. And I've talked about the lighter colors of the tumbled glass, how they're so translucent, and if you put resin over it, they become more translucent. So I did pour the resin over the darker colors of glass, but I tried not to get it on top of the light blue glass so that it wouldn't disappear into the background. Anyway, I just smoothed the resin around, got it into the corners and along the sides. I used the heat gun to get rid of the bubbles. And here I'm taking those little crystals that I had pulled out of the jewelry and trying to put them in place on the mermaid's tail and body. And I tell you, you put those things on and they flip one way, and I have a toothpick here, or I think I might be using the starfish point to try to tip them back over because I forgot to bring a toothpick in the room. Toothpicks are real good to move glass around and other things that you're trying to put on your project. So here I'm just putting the starfish back on and putting a little bit more resin on, and it's all done. It needs to sit overnight at temperatures between 72 and 80 degrees Fahrenheit on a level flat surface, and it's in your best interest to cover it with a dust cover. Hey everyone, I love the way my little mermaid turned out, but the only thing I don't like about it is the frame on it. It was really hard to paint, and I put some kind of a sealer on it, which kind of messed it up, and then I ended up painting over it again, and I think I have a little touch-up to do down there. But the mermaid, excuse me, the mermaid itself, she turned out real cute. And you know, you have to think outside the box when you see things at garage sales. You know, even though there's a mirror at the bottom, you can change out the top and put glass in there. And if you don't have tumbled sea glass, you can always use, I mean, I think it looks best with the tumbled sea glass because it's a, you know, coastal art. But you can always use broken glass. You could use the fire glass, celestial glass, and color it, the little things, different colors, the little pieces of glass. And I'm trying to think, you could use stained glass maybe for the seagrass. But anyway, she turned out real cute. And I gotta show you, so I had these little things for bubbles, and with one of my last projects, I was looking for something clear and iridescent like that to use for bubbles, and I couldn't find anything. But I finally ended up, I'll show you what I ended up with these beads on Amazon, and I'm gonna put the camera down so that you can see how they come in different sizes in the one container, but you can see the big blue one is the size of a regular marble. And then the darker blue ones are the size that you could probably pick up at Michael's, a little bit smaller. But then the iridescent ones are the ones that are in this container here. And it's all different sizes, you know, small, medium, large. Not as big as than any of the big ones in here though. But they work really good for underwater bubbles, I think. Let me fix the camera. So anyway, all in all, it turned out cute. And I wanted to show you some of my garage sale finds. These were really good. So these two, these things are filthy. I got to take them back out in the garage. But these mirrors, I got 2 of them. See how tall. So they're probably about, gosh, they're up to my waist. So what's that, 3.5 feet, 4 feet? No, whatever, 3.5 feet. So there was 2 of them there. It was the end of the day. And she said $3, and I said for both? And she says, you could have both of them for $5. So I ended up with 2 of them. And these are really nice. I don't know, I probably don't even have to paint the frame. What I'll probably do is clean the frames up real good and then distress them a little more. Because I'll probably do some kind of coastal art on them. So I think that would look really nice. So I got those. Those were a deal. 2 for $5. You can't beat that. Got to do a little cleanup work though. And then this glass I got here. So I still have the prices on it. These were all from one garage sale. These 4. And look at how big this one is. This thing is huge. So she had $10. These 3, $10. $5 and $5, $20. So I ended up getting the 3 of these for 10. No, for 12. I paid 12, so that was a bid. But this is the color is all the way through it, so this will be nice tumbled glass. Especially look at that pretty color there. And this thing is huge. Look at the color on that. Isn't that beautiful? And then this, she had $2 on, and she gave it to me for $1. And I believe this is the cased glass that I've talked about in my videos about tumbling glass, where it kind of is clear around the edges, because I've broken up a couple that look identical to this. And this is really thick glass. This is great for tumbling. So anyway, I ended up with the 4 of these. The total price was $13, which I think is great. And then the other thing I got was, this was at another garage sale, this beautiful green bowl. This is so pretty with Christmas coming up and Christmas trees. I can use this tumbled glass for Christmas trees. And then I got these really cute frames. They were 50 cents each. But they look like antique frames, don't they? I thought this would be really pretty to put a pretty little Christmas tree on. And this one too. Isn't that pretty? These look very antique, but who knows? And then the other thing I got was another one of these. This is dirty too. I gotta wash this out. But this works. This is the vase that I used to make the top of the palm tree that I did last week. And these, I used to pass them up, but she says cost me $0.25. From now on, I'm gonna grab them, and they work really good for the palm tree. So the smaller the diameter, the smaller the curve when you cut the glass. So maybe I'll try a palm tree with this and tumble it for a day or 2 just to take the sharp edges off and see how that turns out. Anyway, all in all, like I said, it's getting so hot here that there's not as many garage sales, so the finds are far and few between. But I do find things here and there. And so I think this turned out cute. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. It helps the channel. If you want to be notified of future videos, subscribe and you'll be notified. And I'd love to hear from you guys. I'd love to see what you're making. My email is under my about information. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. I love to see what you guys are making. It gives me ideas, and any suggestions that you have, I won't feel insulted because, you know, it's just nice to hear other people's ideas. But anyway, I hope you guys have a great day. Thanks for watching.